You're listening to Beyond Insights, your go-to podcast for all things accounting, business, and technology.
From cybersecurity and AI innovations to sustainability and work-life balance, we've got you covered.
We host insightful guests from different backgrounds, industries, and locations all around the world.
From this diversity of thought, we aim to find solutions to some of our most pressing business problems.
Thank you for tuning in. Let's dive right in and go beyond insights.
Welcome to this episode of Beyond Insights. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Lisandra Gonzalez. I hope I didn't mess it up too much, who is the CFO of Transition House, a US-based residential nonprofit organization that's dedicated to providing hope and healing. So we had to discuss the importance of the work that Transition House does and the role that financial literacy can play in the lives of those who've recently been released from prison, as well as more that Lisandra has learned as a CFO at the organization. So there's a bit of background. Welcome, Lisandra. Thank you so much for making time for us. And to start, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what you do at Transition House?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time doing this, so I am so sorry if I messed something up. I'm going to apologize in advance. Well, my name is Lisandra Gonzalez. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at the Transition House. Accounting has been always a passion of mine. I think it was just, I don't know, I was pushed to it. My dad was also an accountant. And I remember him taking me to his office when I was a little girl and seeing him doing these big ledgers and, thank God for technology that we don't have to do that anymore. But somehow I was passionate about it and seeing, the control and the processes that he had in place. I loved it. And when I went to high school over there in Cuba, I had the choice of doing my high school with a technical degree, sort of. Mm-hmm. And I chose accounting as a major. And I did that until my 11th year. And then when I was about to start my senior year, my family and we were blessed and granted to come to the United States with a visa lottery. And we all came here. And so I finished my senior year in the United States without that concentration in accounting. But when the time came to start college, I chose accounting because I always been passionate about it. Yes. And then it was really hard at first because of the language barrier. But that's the amazing things of science accounting. Accounting is accounting everywhere you go. So the background that I had over there in Cuba helped me a lot with my first couple of years. And, and nothing. I graduated. I was super excited. First couple of years, it just took me a while to find a place that it will just be my passion. And after COVID, I was terminated from the current employer that I had. The company, like every other company in the United States and around the world, was facing a challenge. And I was very blessed to be called by the Transition House to be their financial controller. And I was 33 years old by the time I was hired. And within 3 years, I became the first chief financial officer the Transition House ever had by age 36. And here I am. I'm super excited. I am more than blessed that and lucky to have landed in a pro-employee organization that strives to promote diversity and acceptance and prioritizes making everyone feel welcome and safe, and regardless of their background, ethnicity, sexual orientation. The Transition House is an amazing organization that believes in kindness and you as a human. So that's me. I hope I answer.
Yeah, no, that was great. It's such an interesting journey, and it's so beautiful how accounting, is everywhere. So from South Africa, where I am, to Cuba, and now America, where you are today, it's important everywhere. And you've given us a little bit of a snippet into Transition House and the amazing place it is. But maybe could you elaborate a little bit more about, Transition House's mission? I think you gave us a little bit already, but, anything more there? And then what are some of the key services and programs that Transition House offers to individuals who have recently been released from prison?
Of course. So the Transition House was an idea that came to our founder over 30 years ago. So Dr. Griffin, he was driven by the need in the Central Florida area to help homeless veterans struggling with addiction. He was in recovery, so he had a personal interest and passion in helping those in need in recovery housing. His vision became a reality, and since then the company has become this fantastic organization that prioritizes preparing our residents for a life free of crime, homelessness, and substance use. Our mission is to inspire brighter and healthier lives, and it's our primary focus. Our primary focus is behavioral health. Substance use, recovery, permanent rehabilitation. Some of our main services are reentry programs, which helps still incarcerated individuals to reenter into society, workforce. We also provide them with substance use treatment, group therapy, education, and vocational training. We also have veteran programs. We honor all those who have served our country by giving them assistance and support, the support they need, to transition from homelessness to stable housing and employment. We also have outpatient counseling centers that offer services tailored to each individual needs. That includes counseling group sessions, medical monitoring, management services, addictions treatments. And last but not least, we have affordable housing programs that it's not only for veterans, for all of those who cannot afford current market rates.
Okay, sure. That's amazing. Lots and lots of things you're doing there to help everybody. I think maybe if you could share a success story with us. I'm not sure if you have any stories of success from recent people who have been working with you.
Of course, we have so many. Our most influential success story is a veteran client who became to the Transition House through our reentry program. He was an inmate who followed our program and worked very hard to reintegrate successfully into society. Once completed the program, he was admitted to our residential center where he spent 2 years focusing on his recovery while earning his degree at a local college. From there, he was connected with our SSPF program, where he found affordable housing to help provide safe and secure housing for himself and his family. And after the entire journey to a brighter and healthier life, he decided to give back by accepting a job within our SSCF team, where he's offering support to those in similar situations that he found himself when he came to our reentry program.
Sure, that's amazing. Giving back, when you've given what you've assisted him with is really incredible. So I think obviously we're accountants and we love accounting. Well, I could see that you did in the beginning. So the next question I have is, can you talk about the role that financial literacy has to play in the lives of those who have been incarcerated?
Of course. So financial literacy is a key component to successful reentry into society for those who have been incarcerated. So by providing formerly incarcerated individuals or soon to be with the skills to manage their money, navigate their financial system, avoid financial pitfalls, understanding the tax responsibilities, setting up savings and budgets, and create just help them rebuild their lives and breaking cycles of poverty and incarceration. This is what we do here at the Transition House. Post incarceration, residents will face many challenges, and finding employment is one of them. That's why our goal here at the Transition House is to continue to create strong business bonds with local businesses that will hire our residents. So when they are released, they can count on their financial independence.
Amazing. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, we all need to pay our bills and you need money to do that. And so managing your money can just be, so empowering. I know you touched on some things already, like budgeting. Are there any other specific financial skills or other knowledge that you focus on when you're working with these individuals?
Of course. So mainly we work on securing permanent employment. And by the time they are successfully released from our program, they have enough savings to cover for at least 3 to 6 months of rent and their basic needs.
No, and that's amazing because life happens, and so you need a bit of a buffer. So it's great that by the time they kind of leave you guys, they already have that buffer for when things get a little bit tough. So you've given us a story of one very successful transition, but how long does it typically take for a transition process to take? And is there any post-transition support?
Yes. So it takes about 9 months to a year. This is a typical average length of staying in a residential and reentry program. Post-transition support is available in our outpatient programs. So we have grants to assist the veterans after they stay in our residentials for up to 12 months once they leave our program with case management service. So that's the key there. Our outpatient also offers additional support for individual counselings and group therapies, so they can feel supported when they are used to be living in the community with other people that are going through the same stuff and they are released. It can be a big shock for them. So the outpatient, the post-transition, it will be a key factor in there.
Okay, no, so you're not just kind of like, cool, goodbye. You make sure there's additional support for them afterwards.
Correct.
And it makes so much sense. I think it's probably the hardest part when you actually go out into society. And so we've chatted about financial literacy, but as we said, you need to be able to get a job and job opportunities. So how do you ensure that there are job opportunities, and other ways of them earning money so that they can have a start at this, new life that they're hopefully going to succeed at?
Well, we have great partners in the community, businesses that are willing to help, and our residents also want to work hard. They want to get a second chance and close those unhealthy cycles. So once they're placed in a job, they try their best to stay employed. We have residents that they have grown into management positions. We have an employer, a community partner that even donated a car to a resident upon his release to ensure his transportation. We have entrepreneurs, we have business owners, we have artists that have graduated from our programs, and now they return to share their stories with current residents, showing their support and giving them hope. We also promote financial literacy within our programs with basic knowledge and skills like budgeting and assisting them with savings and checking accounts for when they are released. They don't feel like, what do I do with this? How do I cash a check? Things like that.
Okay. No, it makes sense. I think you're covering a lot of those very practical things that I think we all wish we learned at school when we go out into the world. And, how do you file taxes? How do you open a bank account? All of those things. And as well as budgeting. I think, it's all well and good getting them a job, because that's great. But, you need to make sure that you can manage your money correctly. And then you can actually, keep the roof over your head, so you can keep the clothes, so you can keep the job. It all works together very well. And I know you mentioned before there was someone who had been part of your program came back to assist your program. How do you encourage, people who have been part of the program to come and give back, to support others and mentor them? And do you have any other examples of that?
Of course. They become a community. It's more than friendship when they are facing these challenges, and when one inmate or resident or a client is released, it's just surreal to see how many former residents they come back for visits, encouraging them. They bring donations, they bring just clothes, hygiene supplies. There is a nonprofit organization here in Jacksonville. It's close to one of our centers. It's called New Beginnings of Jacksonville. It was founded by a former client of us whose primary goal is to provide post-incarceration services to people who they just need a helping hand coming out of prison. So they're there, they have the passion, they see the need, and they're released, and they're like, how can I help them? How can I help my brothers that are still there dealing with the things that I was dealing with? We have this story is super beautiful, which I was made aware of not too long ago. There is a former resident that now is a pastor at a local church, and he comes back and he baptizes the residents and helps them, and it's just beautiful to see how they help each other even though they're released from our programs.
Sure, that's amazing. I mean, yes, I suppose when you're doing a good work, it spreads. And so really good to hear that you can keep people involved in coming back, and that, everyone's contribution is what makes this possible. So very, very amazing work that you guys are doing. So obviously, from what we've chatted about, you're just getting started. So what are your future goals for the Transition House, particularly when it comes to the realm of financial education and support?
Well, I have so many goals and dreams, of course, but I will love to build an internship program and build relationships with local colleges. I can put my department as an example. When I was first hired initially here at the Transition House, the intention was to bring finances in house. We had a third party vendor handling finances for us. So at first it was just me. I was just trying to figure things out. The company was 25, 26 years old, never had an accounting department. They hired me to bring finances in house for the first time ever. So I kept hiring employees after a while, after 2 years, based on the need of the department. And since then, I have created new roles and hired new graduates to give them the opportunity to learn and share their fresh perspective, giving them also the space to explore and excel within our organization. So I just feel like that model of bringing fresh blood to the table and new ideas and new excitement, it's always good. So I feel that creating that internship program is going to be very helpful, not only for the Transition House, for those young professionals that are getting out of college.
No, that makes so much sense. I also have a passion for education and future accountants, that, you need to give accountants a space to learn. There's so much we learn in practice, which is what they'd be learning, with you at Transition House. So that makes a lot of sense. So speaking on, accountants and all these accountants that you have working for you, Transition House is a nonprofit, right? So nonprofit accounting is quite different from, a for-profit company. There's different things you have to consider. So how do you manage the differences that you wouldn't necessarily encounter in a for-profit organization?
Definitely. Well, we use the fund accounting method, which restricts our resources to specific uses, such as substance abuse counseling, medication, case management, while for-profit organizations they maximize profitability and shareholders' values. One of my biggest challenges, for example, is that we have an audit for each grant, in addition of our annual one single audit. So that could be like up to 20 audits a year. Many beliefs, don't kill me now, accounting over there, all over the world, that the nonprofit accounting is more difficult due to the unique requirements and regulations of tracking funds based on donor restrictions. So it just could be very time consuming and yeah.
No, I can get that. But I suppose it is so important because people are giving you their hard-earned money. And so you need to be able to show where it's going and that it's being used for what they intended it to be used for. So I suppose you have to have very good systems in place, be very diligent about, the GL account codes or whatever it is that you use. So it's all about the detail from what I'm hearing there. Cool. So you need some good accountants.
Good accountants. We're hiring.
Yay. Okay, cool. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And I think something that I'm very passionate about is how accounting can be powerful. But, often people, when they think of accounting, they think, oh, accountants are just there to limit costs and, man the budget. So how do you balance the financial needs of an organization while still looking at those mission-driven goals that you have? You're not just a for-profit org, you've got a real mission. So how do you balance those two things?
Well, I will say that this is a critical challenge for nonprofit organizations, especially in the mental health industry after COVID. But to simplify my answer, I will say that by creating a solid strategic plan that defines organization mission, vision, and values, and long-term goals, and a budget-based program that allocates expenses and resources directly to the programs that support the organization missions.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think, as I said, often people think accountants are kind of, stopping us from doing good things because they say we can't spend. But in my experience, I mean, I was a church treasurer once as well, is, in order to do great things, you need to be better at accounting. You need to make sure that you're managing that budget even more because you have to make every dollar go further. You need to know exactly what you're spending it on. And And, in the instance of grants, you need to make sure you have those records so that you can qualify for all those grants. Because I imagine, they're not going to just give money to anyone. You have to kind of have those details. So I think maybe there needs to be a shift from people thinking accounting's getting in the way to actually being an enabling tool for nonprofits. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I'm just
100%. 100%.
I think maybe that's also exciting for those new graduates. I think often people think, oh, I'm going to there to be an accountant and to just record things. But actually, what I've been chatting to you, you've got this passion. You're not just the accountant sitting in the corner writing down the things. You're enabling Transition House to do all these amazing things through the way that you manage their finances in an amazing way. So that's my 2 cents.
I love it. And honestly, I love your passion. I'm in the same boat. I love to see people choosing accounting as a major. I know that a lot of people they're not being passionate about this field. There has been a decrease in accountants in the past decade. And it's sad to see because accounting actually it's pretty cool and people don't see that because we have this people have this perspective of like that we're here sitting around crunching numbers all day long staring at spreadsheets, but that's not the case. Accounting is like the language of a business. It communicates a company's financial health. We're problem solvers. We don't sit around in the desk just crunching the numbers. We streamline processes and cash flows and analyze risk. And we help organizations to make better strategic planning and decisions. We can choose different career paths within the accounting world. We can do forensic accounting, which is my specialty. My concentration is forensic accounting. We can do management, we can do consulting, we can specialize in auditing, merging, acquisitions. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like for all of you that are like thinking to choose accounting or other major, I will invite you to try it on and see, how you feel about it.
Amazing. Yeah, I think we need to spread this message more because I'm also hearing a lot about how there's not enough accountants, people aren't studying accounting. And I do tutoring at my church on a Sunday morning. And whenever the kids come with accounting, they're like, oh, shame, you're doing accounting. But then I'm explaining to them, I'm like, do you know why it's important? And I'm like, well, accountants are what enable businesses or nonprofits to run. You kind of this foundation that empowers if it's done properly. And I think we need to change that shift because, like Transition House, without grants and without management of the expenses, I'm sure there are going to be lots of great people, but at some point it's not going to be able to run. So I know I'm drilling this in, but I just think it's really important for young people to realize that, accountants can be superheroes. If we do it properly, we can really, make a huge impact in the world. But also just, for others to realize that, all your favorite nonprofits or charities out there, they're going to run properly. They need support, like all the great people you've spoken about, but also accountants. So I think that's very important to note.
I love that. I love our passion for this.
Yeah, I love education and I love accounting. So and doing good. We don't want to just be there making money. We want the money to do something good.
Exactly.
So I think I have like 2 more questions, but maybe the last one, the second last one, sorry, is what would you like people to take away from this episode? You discussed a lot of things about what Transition House does, about how cool accountants are, but if someone was going to just remember one thing from this episode that we've had, this very fun chat, what would you want them to remember?
I want everyone to know that mental health is health and that healing is a journey. There is a Latin phrase that says mens sana in corpore sano, which means a healthy mind and a healthy body. This phrase refers to the importance of keeping a healthy body for mental and psychological well-being. However, if your mind is not healthy, starts reflecting in your body. So basically what I'm trying to say is that prioritizing your mental health is key. That's a message that we're trying to deliver here at the Transition House for our employees, for our residents, for everyone, that you cannot give if you are not healthy. So you have to heal yourself in order to help others. So the example starts by us, the employees, management, everyone else, because how can we help others if we're not in a mental health, healthy place? So yeah, mental health is health, and that's important.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think we can see, you guys are working hard towards that in everything you do at Transition House. But I also think that's an important message because I listen to a lot of accounting podcasts, and I think often accountants, we get so busy, there's deadlines, there's tax deadlines. Sometimes we forget that it's important to look after our mental health and to rest. So I think, beyond Transition House, important for all accountants out there and business owners as well. I think being a business owner can also be rough. So important to take time and really manage your mental health. So cool. The last question then from my side is, how can people get in touch with Transition House, or, if they want to get involved with the mission and the work that you guys are doing there?
So you can always visit our support page, which is thetransitionhouse.org/support veterans. I will be sharing that with you after the interview. And you can always check our social media platforms. We're always sharing stories, success stories, and what we're up to, what are the events that we have going on for the veterans. So yeah, you can always visit our page and support our veterans.
Amazing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. You can see I got very passionate at one point in time about accounting being cool and saving the world. But yeah, thank you so much, Lisandra, for joining us. We've tried to do this twice, but the weather did not allow. But I'm so glad that we finally got to have this chat to share the amazing work that you guys are doing at Transition House. But also, broader than that, the amazing work that accountants can do in places like Transition House and other nonprofits out there. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed it and appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, until next time on Beyond Insights, I hope that you have a great week. And yeah, we'll see you next week with another great episode of Beyond Insights. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Insights podcast.
Please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to right now.
And please share with any of your colleagues or friends or family members that you think might benefit from listening to this podcast.
That's all from us. Until next time, see you then.